Hello everyone. Today we are telling a story about Little Red Riding Hood with the following members. Miss Phương Phá played the Lois, the wolf. Miss Masaya played the Lois, the Little Red Riding Hood. Miss Titirat played the Lois, moderator. Mr. Apishai played the Lois, woodsman. And Miss Kantira played the Lois, mother and grandmother. If you're ready, let's watch and listen. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who lived in the village near the forest. Whenever she went out, the little girl wore a red riding cloak, so everyone in the village called her Little Red Riding Hood. One morning, Little Red Riding Hood asked her mother if she could go to visit her grandmother, as it had been a while since they'd seen each other.
That's a good idea.
Her mother said, so they packed 9 baskets for Little Red Riding Hood to take to her grandmother. When the basket was ready, the little girl put on her red cloak and kisses her mother goodbye.
Remember, go straight to grandmother's house. Don't dawdle along the way. And please don't talk to strangers. The woods are dangerous.
Don't worry, Mommy. I'll be careful.
But when Little Red Riding Hood noticed some lovely flower in the woods, she forgot her promise to her mother. She picked at the field, watched the rabbit jumping about for a while, listening to the flock cawing, and then picked at the field more. Little Red Riding Hood was enjoying the warm summer day so much that she didn't notice a dark shadow approaching out of the forest behind her.
What are you doing out here, little girl?
The wolf asked in a voice as friendly as he could muster.
I'm on my way to see my grandma, who lives across the forest near the brook.
And then she realized how late she was and quickly excused herself, rushing down the path to her grandma's house. The wolf, in the meantime, took a shortcut. The wolf, a little now of breath of running, arrived at grandma and knocked lightly at the door.
Oh, thank goodness, dear. Come in. I thought you were sick, that something has happened to you in the forest,
said grandma, thinking that he knocked was her granddaughter. The wolf let himself in. Poor granny did not have time to say another word before the wolf gobbled her up. The wolf let out a satisfied burp, and then poked through Granny's wardrobe to find a nightgown that he liked. He added a frilly sleepy cap, and for good measure, dropped some of Granny's perfume behind his pointed ear. A few minutes later, Red Riding Hood knocked on the door. The wolf jumped into bed and pulled the cover over his nose.
Who is it?
He called in a cracky voice.
It's me, Little Red Riding Hood. Oh, how lovely. Do come in, my dear.
When Little Red Riding Hood entered the little cottage, she could scarcely recognize her grandmother.
Grandmother, your voice sounds so odd. Is something the matter?
Oh, I just have touched off a cold.
But, Grandmother, what big ears you have.
The better to hear you wish, my dear.
But, Grandmother, what big eyes you have.
The better to see you wish, my dear.
But, Grandmother, what big teeth you have.
The better to eat you wish, my dear.
Almost too late. Little Red Riding Hood realized that the person in the bed was not her grandmother, but a hungry wolf. She ran across the room and through the door, shouting,
Help! What?
A woodsman who was shopping wrong nearby heard her cry and ran toward the cottage as fast as he could. He gasped the wolf and made him spit out the full grandma, who was a bit flustered by the whole experience.
Grandma, I was so shy. I never speak to strangers or daughter in the forest again.
There, shy. You learned an important lesson. Thank goodness. You should laugh. And now for his die. Wolfman, to hear you.
The woodsman knocked out the wolf and carried him deep into the forest, where he wouldn't bother people any longer. Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother had a nice lunch and a long chat.